I'm actually redoing a video for once because I should have started out here-ish. This is about like the fall. Well, this is gonna be the title, but it's gonna be about the fall and so Adam and Eve. Um, there's the story that this is Gnostic story of the Elohim, where there's Elohim is represented as humanity, but it's in the from the main viewpoint of a male, a male figure, and it's kind of goes along with the whole idea that history is his story, not her story. And but so there's this, but it represents humanity, like man and woman, and their relationship to Eden, which is all good and loving and peaceful and all that instinctual, because they're kind of like animals, whatnot, in their consciousness. They don't have the worries of good and evil like we do now, and so they propagate and whatnot. But then one day, the Elohim, represented by the man, learns of the transcendental good, because of course he's going to learn about the good, and then in trying to reach it and trying to become it, unleashes evil upon the world, which is basically Pandora's box, except I follow a lot of like male mentors and whatnot, and I'd say the worst example has just been like ridiculous lately with the whole, like, there's tropes on here I could find of like women belong in the kitchen and all that sort of shit. He's like super extreme on that sort of shit, and so he's well intentioned, but it's called a Knight Templar also. He's like a well intentioned misogynist, and like a lot of the shit he says is true, but it's just getting fucking ridiculous. And to kind of justify my own existence as a feminine dude, I mean that's something I gotta come up against. Uh, so I'm gonna start this. This is the Dramatica, and I just found out about this today. It talks about a complete story is produced when an issue has been fully explored by examining all possible solutions. A characters or story characters and plot or the thoughts and frame of the mind in the tangible form, while plot holes and other inconsistencies occur when an argument is incomplete or the mind wanders off topic. So I would just take this as religion. I'm definitely going to say like some things that seem like blasphemous, but like the Bible, like reducing God to the Bible or the Quran or any like holy book and saying this is the truth, is humans trying to play God, is humans trying to say that they're as wise as God, or that like there is no words on earth that could be written down that would truly capture like God, like the transcendental, like high above. Like you can't replicate that. Humans can't. We're mortal beings. We're all fallible. So, but we can approximate it. So therefore, the Quran's not perfect. None of the prophets were perfect. I think Jesus was probably a man, but as far as Jesus, real quick, the three wise men went and told the King Herod that, hey, this prophecy is going to happen and whatnot, and then probably knew what he was going to do and contrived to get there before him, which is, I got that from the Art of War. There's a line about contriving to get there, like making the enemy move and then contriving to get to there before him before he reaches an advantage. Is this something in high regard? I forgot how he puts it exactly, but that's what they did, and they got to Jesus and like when he was an infant, and then they're like, hey, he's gonna come. This king that we just warned is gonna come fucking kill all the babies and whatnot. So let's take him. We're gonna take him, and they raised him in their freaking esoteric thing. And I would say there's an overall through line, which is like for us to say that's the human condition. There's a main character through line, which actually wouldn't involve such as like Jesus and Muhammad and such. But it's the main thing here is as far as the fall and Adam and Eve, the main character is going to be uh, maybe directing the story or just along for the ride, but he's got his own personal interpretation of the problem that is expressed in his own personal arc. So this is going to be all about the male perspective. But there's also the influence character, provides a viewpoint that counters the main character. The influence character has its own rival interpretation of the issue that challenges the mains. The main character must accept the influence character's viewpoint or insist on, really, it says his own, but I'm going to say her own because this is the woman, right? Uh, and then the relationship through line charts the interaction and conflict of the main character and the influence character. The relationship of the two forms the heart of the story. And then the character that is dedicated to pursuing the story's goals, the protagonist, they don't have to be the main thing. But like there's the protagonist centered morality, which is, man sees himself as man is creating God in his own image and likening himself to God. That's what I think that's what the Catholics are doing, like the Pope. I'm picking on Catholicism because that's what the former, like, he was like a mentor for a long time, and then he just went totally fucking well-intentioned misogynist, uh, Knight Templar, tautological. It starts with I gotta figure out a better way to group these, but like the designated hero is they're designated the hero. They don't have to do anything heroic. They're just the designated hero. Like, it's just put on them, and then they can be total shitbags about it if they want. And that's how, like, when man found out about the idea of this transcendental good and attached himself to it, it was a instance of just think of the potential, yet just think of the potential is countered by the potential of its power to be perverted. So in realizing this higher good, there's also realizing this mirrored sort of evil, and that created the moral event horizon, which there's something with the forbidden fruit and inevitably broken rules, and there's like 100 fucking more tropes that I don't even have written on here that apply. Like father science versus mother nature, or lampshade hanging versus lampshade wearing, which seems like it's unrelated, but like when you put the connection to, like, oh hey, they just started wearing clothes for the first time out of shame. So the face heel turn is when a good character becomes bad, or even it might even be just for a moment. So naturally, there was a scapegoat. The scapegoat became the woman, and then man started to accentuate the negative, and the mimetic personality changes where memes are more influential over a person than their own character development, while the mimetic badass is basically guy shit, but it's badass, and it becomes an ascendant meme, which is basically religion. So man's more like Jekyll and Hyde, and that's what creates a tragic hero. And he's sort of a karma Houdini through fan and I've learned these last words. I'm not pronouncing that right now. I've run out of time. The whoopee is more so what woman has been put as, which is like the designated butt monkey, humiliation Congo, which like this just it's kind of obvious for at least the modern age. It creates beneath the mask is an interesting one. Then there's the Cassandra, which there's the Cassandra truth, where you're not taken seriously. There's the idea of this hysterical woman, or even a powerful woman is unstable, therefore dangerous. And then there's this denial that women have their own mysteries, which when I looked at that trope, I put real life examples because that part's important to look at the real life examples because it predates a lot. It predates a lot of religion. There's the artifact of attraction, which is really, it can be good or bad. It's seen as like an object, but in psychology, there's the self, and then there's the other, and then you define the self by the other, and that's what humans do with the dimorphism and culture and whatnot. So, oh, Kirk summation. I just wrote that recently. So the Kirk summation is probably related to our better outcome of a merger rather than a takeover for the split whole shadow and all that sort of shit from our fallen past. This really isn't fallen. It's just like growing pains because we got put on the path of most resistance since that's like the best path for XP and character development and all that sort of shit. Evolution's sake. And when God's like, yeah, man's gonna toil in the fields and woman's gonna, serve under him and all that. It's not God saying this is a commandment. This is basically God, our connection to God, giving us a bit of forewarning really it's foreshadowing, because it's inevitable. Like that, this was going to happen as it did. Now, woman is more so the designated sidekick that is basically put off as weak and corruptible and the cause of sin. She caused man to do what he did. Therefore, she must like wear a burqa. There's the blame and shaming and scapegoat, which has some dark connotations to it. If you look into it, like they really fuck a person up. And as far as man and his Jekyll and Hyde, he projects his evil, his failings onto the woman as the cause of the woman. But then that evil gets pushed to the utmost extreme, which is where you get Ron the Death Eater, which is like Ron from Harry Potter. Like, oh, it's just like some stupid character that's not even threatening. But if you go to the absolute maximum to take all of his bad qualities and make them like completely monstrous, and any good qualities and demonize them or make them abominable, you get Ron the Death Eater, which is basically the equivalent of Satan. And then I got dark is not evil, because there is like yin and yang. Ideas like wearing makeup, makeup's evil, rock and roll is evil. Like it's not. There's two kinds of people, which is how a lot of these men will look at the world, and there's a lot of fallacies with that. There's a lot of really really bad implications as far as like the world would be better without these sort of people, or man is superior and we have like a divine right to enforce religion down people's throats to the extent that there's like no. We started out too small name, big ego. Now Jesus might be like an ideal hero, where humanity sort of realizes its big ego has a hidden depths. But I'm out of time for this video, and there's an Achilles heel there. Oh yeah.